All right, let's go through this. I'm not gonna give you like exact problems, but I'll give you like a general idea of the stuff that you need to know how to do. All right, so I will give you. Now let's click on this. I will give you a circle with a bunch of stuff on it, and we'll talk about what equals what and all that kind of good stuff. All right, first of all, let's put a center right there. And I'll draw. And what you could probably do, I think most of the time I get this from the questions in the book. So you may want to look at this picture and find out where in the book you see this. Yeah, well, this is going to be like 1 through 4, 3, 1 to 3, 1, 2, and 3. Well, this is the one picture. It's going to be 1, 2, and 3. Let me adjust this a little bit. There we go. Let's see. All right, let me put some letters on here. Now, I'm not going to put the numbers. We're not actually going to do the math on this, but I'm going to show you what it looks like, try to give you an idea of how to go about solving or what they're going to ask for and all that good stuff. This is F, this is E, this is C, and D, and B. All right. Here's all the stuff. All right. And they tell you this. They tell you that's perpendicular. They tell you this one's perpendicular. I think that's everything they tell you. It is. Let me check my notes one time real quick here. All right. I just want to see the theorems right in front of me so I can remember what they say, and I should be able to help you out a little bit. All right, so I have a thing that says if a radius is perpendicular to a chord. Now, this is very important. Everybody listen. If a radius is perpendicular to a chord, do I have that situation? Yeah, I got it twice, don't I? All right, the theorem says then it bisects the chord. Do you hear me? So this AD is perpendicular to this chord, so what does that mean? That means this little bit and this little bit are equal to each other. It also means what? That this little bit and this little bit are equal to each other, because this radius is perpendicular to this chord. So if it's perpendicular to a chord, it bisects that chord. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to give you some numbers, right? They're going to say, you know, this is equal to whatever number, or they'll tell you the whole chord. What if they told you the whole chord BE was 10? Then what would you know? You know that BC is 5 and EC is 5. You with me on that? Okay. Let me look at the quiz real quick. Tell you. Let's see. Yep. Yeah, so that's pretty easy. If they tell you the whole thing, then you know that and that are the same. They tell you the whole thing, you know that one and that one are the same. So that's basically number one. And then they might ask you some other stuff. They're going to ask you to find AI in one of the problems. AI is not even drawn for you, is it? So what do? You draw it. Everybody see that? So on number 2, they ask you to find what AI is equal to. But originally on the picture, it was not drawn for you. Okay, so you draw it. So now, look what you have. And they're going to give you some other information, enough to figure out this. They'll probably give you this side and this side right here. So what do you do to find AI or IA? Your Pythagorean theorem, right? Okay? They'll just give you regular numbers. It won't be X or anything like that. They'll just give you regular numbers. They ask for what? No, I don't ask it to find BD. But I do use that AI, and for some reason on the quiz, I did not draw that. I probably should have drawn the AI, but you can just draw it yourself. So that's a little hint for you. All right. Number 3, it's kind of the same thing. Kind of the same thing as 2. You're going to use Pythagorean theorem again. All right. So for 2 and 3, just be able to use Pythagorean theorem. One of the ones you're going to have to find the hypotenuse, and on the other one, you might have to find just one of the legs. All right, but it's still Pythagorean theorem. All right, so that's 1, 2, and 3. Yeah. Is C, yes. Well, if that's a right angle, that's right next to it, right? So it has to be a right angle. Same thing with this angle right here. Okay, right next to that, that has to be a right angle as well. In fact, there's 4 right angles here, right? That one, that one, that one. If that's right. Same thing here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay? All right. 4, 5, and 6 all deal with 2 circles. So let's draw a couple circles, and let's talk about what's true about the circles. So the next one is 4, 5, and 6. All right, and I think they're congruent circles. Let me double check. Yes, 2 congruent circles. So if that's, I'm just going to copy and paste. So I got 2 congruent circles. And we learned something about the congruent circles. Let me find on my notes so I can read off the theorem to you without having to think about it. All right, here's the theorem that I'm going to draw here in a second. It says 2 chords are congruent if they are equidistant, okay, from their centers. So let's do that. Let's draw, I'll kind of make it look like the one on the quiz, okay? And I also need to put a center right there. Come over here, put a center right there. Where was it? Right there? Yep. Okay. All right, it says these 2 chords are congruent. I'm going to take this and I'm just going to move it a little bit. Just doesn't have to be in the same direction. It says if they're equidistant from the center. What does that mean? That means from the center, what's the same distance? Is it from there to there, there to there, there to there? No, the distance to this is perpendicular. Agreed? I'm going to go all the way to there. And then, watch this. I'm going to take this and go to here. So that is perpendicular. I would watch the video on this when I first taught it. Okay, so they're congruent circles. Okay, the distance, all right, from this center to that chord is the same. So watch. That and that are the same because the 2 chords are the same. All right? And, yeah, they're going to ask you for some stuff. They put a dotted line. I'll put a colored line. And they're going to give you, they're going to ask you for, I'm not going to write just because time's running out. You might have to do this. You might have to write that and maybe do that. All right. So what's true about those 2 blue ones then? They're both radius of or congruent circles, so both of those radii are equal to each other, correct? All right. So they're going to give you some numbers, some letters, and you just have to know. Let me see. Find AC. Yeah. Yeah, they tell you some things that are equal to each other. should be pretty straightforward, but this is, I'll just show you what they're going to look like, okay? So this is what they're going to look like. I'm not actually going to put numbers in here. I only got 5 minutes left anyway. So, but that's 4, 5, and 6. So look at the notes, look at the video, look at the problems in the book that have two triangles that look something like this, and that's numbers 4, 5, and 6 on the quiz, okay? So you should study that one up. You might use Pythagorean theorem on a couple. You might have to just set a couple things equal to each other, right? You got to just know what things are equal to what. So you set things equal. It's kind of basic like that. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Well, 7 and 8 are kind of the same. So let's draw 7 and 8. It's basically what we were just doing before we started reviewing for this, when we were going over the homework. All right, so what do we know about this? Let's put a little center right there. All right, and then you got a couple tangents to the circle, so that looks tangent right there. That looks tangent, well, not quite. Let's make it tangent about right there, okay? And it's basically what we just finished doing. Again, I'm not going to give you the long, crazy algebra stuff, all right? So you'll be able to figure it out. So if I drew a radius to the point of tangency, and I drew another radius to that point of tangency, what do I have here? What kind of angle do I have? A right angle. So 7 and 8, you're going to have to know that. And then it's like the other one. I give you that angle, I give you this angle, and you just got to solve for it, okay? When I say I give it to you, it'll be in terms of x, all right? This will be whatever, something x, this will be something x. We just finished doing a problem like that today, all right? So that'll be on the test. That's 7 and 8. All right, this will be either 7 or 8. This will be right here, 7 or 8, all right? So it's the same picture. You're just finding that angle, finding that angle. Remember what we did? We said that was 180, took it away from 360, so this angle plus this angle equals 180. Do your math, solve for x. Yeah, we did it already today. All right, and now, finally, number 10, 9 and 10. And it's basically the same looking picture. I'll just draw it so it looks a little more like on the quiz. So when you see the quiz, you should be very familiar with what these pictures look like. But you just have to study them. All right, and so that is tangent right there. And then this, come on, this is tangent about right there. And then, again, you got these, what am I doing? This. All right. So it looks pretty much like what we talked about earlier. And then you got this thing right here. Remember that? I mean, literally 10, 15 minutes ago, we did this. They asked for the perimeter. Remember we did a perimeter problem? All right, so we did the perimeter, right? Find the distance around all four of them. We did that. And then on another one, you're just going to find, they'll probably give you, take one of these triangles. Remember, what's a right angle? The right angle is right there, isn't it? So they're going to give you one of these, or two of these sides. They're going to ask you for the third side. But again, it's not going to be one of the ones where it's like x plus 2 and x minus 4, and you got to do the FOIL method and all that stuff. It's not going to be that. It'll just be regular numbers. That's all it is. And you just got to find the missing side, okay? So they could give you this side, they could give you this side, and they want you to find that side. It's basically just Pythagorean theorem, okay? So that's basically, well, number 10 is. Number 9 is the perimeter, right? So you just add up all four sides. So number 9 is perimeter, and number 10, you'll do Pythagorean theorem to solve for one of the missing sides. All right, so that's 9 and 10. I know I wasn't really specific, but I was pretty specific because I drew what each picture looks like. So now it's up to you. Go to the videos, right? And you don't have to watch the whole entire thing, but just skim to the part where you see a picture that looks like this. listen to the theorems, listen to what they mean, see what's equal to each other and all that stuff. And then also go through the homework, okay? I'll let you hang on to that homework because some of those problems could be on the quiz, all right? So I'll let you hang on to the homework, and you can turn that in tomorrow before we take the quiz. Everybody good? Okay.